Hey, what's up guys? I thought I would put out a quick video. I'm sure you noticed I haven't been putting stuff up at midnight. Nothing's really happened. I've just had pretty low motivation or drive to continue, at least right now. I think once I get the computer back, I'll have a wider selection of games to cover and stuff like that. But even then, like, I'm not really, like I've said before, I'm not really exerting a lot of effort into this channel right now. It's because they're not paying me, so it's like it's actually not in my best interest to like put a lot of effort into the channel at the moment, simply because I'm already kind of low on self-esteem as it is right now, and I think if I made a video for something like Ninja Turtles that went viral and my partnership network gave me like $2 for it, then that would probably just make me quit altogether. So I've just been playing this, and it seems like you guys have been enjoying the content. I know it's not too interesting unless you've actually played it, but today I wanted to go over the new button system or photon art system that they have. If you played this game before, if you played like the beta or like anything up to episode 3, you remember how it was before. It was very similar to a Musou game where you have one button that you could chain moves off of, and they chained in order. If you did a corresponding attack before it, then it would skip that certain part of the chains. If you wanted to get to the second part of your photon art chain, then you would just push square once for your normal attack, and then it would come out. And same thing for 2. If you did 2, then it basically would be like a C3 in like a Musou game. You would get to your third attack instantly. The problem was it was pretty difficult to get to a move exactly when you needed it. You either had to go through a bunch of square attacks or normal attacks to get to it, or you had to switch palettes. And if you played this game on pad before, you know that switching palettes is really not that practical in the heat of battle, at least if you're playing on controller. If you're playing on keyboard and mouse, like a lot of people play it on there, I don't know how they do it honestly, but switching palettes with that control style is definitely a lot more practical. What I did here was I made it so I have access to everything aside from the farthest palette with just 2 presses of the D-pad. Now the way it works is you have your basic 3 button layout here. You have your normal attack, you have your 1 photon art, and then you have your gear action, which is always an important thing to have whether you're switching or not. And then if you push L2, it's kind of like an attack modifier, kind of like Devil May Cry and stuff, the R1 and forward and stuff like that. You hold the button down and you get access to 3 more slots. So you can have up to 6 photon arts per palette, but obviously you're going to want to have at least your gear action or a normal attack, since you can't do your photon arts without generating photon points with your normal attack. So what I did here is, like, this is my normal palette that I use. I use Grim Barrage a lot for traversal. There's also added a skill where if you chain one move and you go into one of the moves, the 2 moves that have charge time, then you get an instant charge. So what I often do, I'm going to go ahead and show it off in the actual arena here. What I normally do is I do Grim Barrage, and then I cancel the first gun attack that he does. I cancel it into aerial shooting, and that way you gain altitude really fast. Like right there, if you just do 2 of them, you're pretty much above the head of anything except like Giger Guniga, the Shironia boss. You can gain altitude really fast that way. Now this class is definitely designed with being up close as much as possible, but in some cases when you're surrounded by enemies, if you're soloing, you don't have someone who can just revive you, then sometimes it's pretty beneficial to be up in the air as high as possible, and at least that way you can pick off some of the less threatening enemies and come down, and you can get all your zero range bonuses for taking enemies out up close and personal. So what I do here is, if I push down once, then I have access to my other moves. This is like my DPS moveset. Satellite aim is like one of the best DPS options this class has. I also use reverse tap for crowd control, dead approach for obviously approaching. And you also use dead approach to get instant charge heal stab really fast, which does a lot of damage. So at this point, all these other palettes I don't use because I have pretty much the entire moveset on these 3 palettes. There's no real point in having them. I might actually just remove them entirely so that I don't have to worry about switching. Let me try that right now. Yeah, it doesn't actually do anything. Like it's still there. I don't think you can actually disable them, but basically I have them all within 2 button presses, so you can get access to your moves really fast. It definitely takes some practice. If you played a lot of Onichan-bara or Musou Orochi and stuff like that, it shouldn't be that difficult, but it's definitely going to take some muscle memory and some practice. So that's how I do it. The system works really well. It's definitely got a bit of a learning curve if you played the game before with the old style, but I consider it to be better in pretty much every way, because you can get access to a move instantly. You don't have to use your normal attacks to get to them anymore. It's kind of like a, Dynasty Warriors versus Basara. In Basara, you have access to all your moves at any given time, whereas in Dynasty Warriors, you have to go through normal attacks, and especially in the ones that don't have dodge offset, like the mainline ones, it could be pretty inconvenient. If your best moves like on a C6 or a C5, then you've got to master all those attacks to get to it. Whereas here, you kind of adopted a more, Basara-like system where you can just kind of change whatever you want. You can also switch palettes in the middle of a move. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go from Grim Barrage to Satellite Aim. And then I went back to palette 1 for aerial shooting. Definitely lots of possibilities. It's nice that you can gain altitude really fast. From what I understand, if you create a new account right now, I know some of you have been interested in playing because of this is like all I've been playing for like the past 3 weeks. I just don't really have that much to play until the computer gets back. As far as I know, if you make a new account, I think you're defaulted on this system because they pretty much realize it's much better than the old system in basically every way, aside from the steep learning curve. I think you just get this by default, but you can play on the other mode as well. What kind of sucks is that I guess on the Vita version you don't have the option to do this. So I thought about getting the Vita version maybe in a couple months when I start traveling again, but I realized that I probably wouldn't want that because I'd be stuck on the old system again, and they don't have enough buttons on the Vita, I guess, to facilitate having the whole palette switching stuff. So if you play on Vita, all 3 of you that play on Vita, you can't use this system. But it works really well. I've been using it on pretty much every class, and it definitely opens up a lot of possibilities. Another thing that's really nice is if you have a move that needs to be charged, what you can do is you can map it to R1, which means that you'll actually be able to move and jump and reposition yourself without having to, have an awkward, claw, button holding thing. Like, if you ever played like Mega Man X, like some people play claw style, they have like 3 of their index fingers on the face buttons and they play that way. You don't have to do that anymore. Like, for instance, I have Heal Stab on R1, so that if for some reason I want to charge it up the whole way, I have full access to all of my movement. Since I have it on R1, I can move and jump and reposition myself at any given time. It's also useful for Braver. They have a lot of charge moves as well. You probably want to map as many of those to R1 as possible so that you can access them whenever you need them and not have your movement options impaired. Anyway, that's it for today. It's just a little quick thing. I thought I would explain some of the stuff. If you guys have any other questions, you can go ahead and let me know. I'm open to doing small guides for this game, but I'm probably going to do them later this week when I get the computer back and I have the English patch, and you guys can know exactly what it is I'm doing instead of having to guess or me having to explain everything. So if you have any questions about the game, go ahead and let me know, because at this point I don't know when the computer is going to get back. It's probably going to be towards the end of the week at the earliest. Like I said, they do not work on weekends, so if it's not done by Friday, if they get stumped or if they have to back up everything or reinstall Windows, which is what I assume is going to happen, then I'm not going to have it back until next Monday. So it's going to be more of this. I really don't have a large PS4 library, and I've pretty much beaten all the games that I bought. I bought, Kamen Rider. I did pretty much everything on that. I will probably trophy hunt on that game once I get the computer back and I can actually stream it because it's blocked. As you know, I already did everything on Onichan-bara Z2 Chaos. I got the platinum. I looked at the speedrun.com leaderboards for it, and I'm pretty certain that I could destroy like all the times that they have on there. So I'm probably gonna look into that. Maybe after I get back from my vacation, or maybe before. So let me know what you guys want to see. Peace.